Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday Night Magic the Gathering here at Collector Legion, where you can collect your Legion. And I'm just pushing all the buttons in the wrong type of way tonight. My name is James Myers. I'll be your host this evening. I believe Johnny will be with me as well. Should be in here momentarily. We have on our left-hand side, I believe Johnny will be with me as well. Ami. And on the right-hand side, Sal. Ami, I believe, is playing mono red, and Sal's playing black red mid-range. Black red mid-range. And it looks like this game is well off to start. I am just trying to type in some final things here real quick. Sorry for the delay in commentation. So Sal, turn 3, throwing down a chain roller. Looks like Ami has that scrap doll. Let me pull it up. We had this all set up, folks, and then I accidentally pushed a button that made everything turn off, sadly. And we cannot see that life total whatsoever. I will be right back momentarily. I'm going to put on some tunes here real quick. And hopefully fix the life totals and the other technical malfunctions I got going on right now. Ami has 4 mana and a god out, whereas it looks like Sal has his vehicle out there. Alright folks, I will be right back and go see what's going on with that life total out there. Well, when I went out there, it was 19-3. I'm sure it's different now. 19 for Mr. Ami, 3 for Sal, and it looks like they're already finishing up going to sideboards. So, looking at the black mid-range deck, it's a pretty interesting deck here. We've got a Walking Ballista for Scrap Heap Scrounger. That's the one I was trying to think of and couldn't say the name. For Goblin Chain Roller, 2 Pioneer, a Hezareth the Fervent, Rekindling Phoenixes, are a 2 of. Glorybringers are a 3 of. We also got 2 Skarns and 2 Chandras. So it seems like this deck does both, not necessarily aggro out, but it does bring a big punch. Whereas that red deck that wins, we've got Oncop Crashers, 4 Bonmont Couriers, 4 Goblin Chain Whirlers, 4 Hezarits. It's much faster. It also carries Abrades, Lightning Strikes, and Shocks. It's a pretty interesting matchup. I think it comes down to whether or not Sal can use his Magma Sprays and Abrades and removal to cut down Ami's creatures or not. Or if Ami just gets in. We will find out. Trying to fix a few more things here, folks, as they come into the sides. Looking at the sideboard cards, it seems like Sal's probably going to bring his Vraska's Contempt. Exile target creature or planeswalker and gain 2 life. That seems like some good removal. As well as the Doomfall seems pretty decent. As far as what Ami has, I imagine Cut and Ribbons and maybe his own bringing up the 3rd On-Crop Crasher. That's a mouth tongue twister. That haste ability is pretty good though, so if Ami's trying to race Sal, I think the haste is definitely going to help out. Ami's going back over his deck, probably trying to figure out where that 1 slot's supposed to be. Or those 2 cards he's trying to side out. Oh. Alright, turn 1, Sal's playing a tap land. Ami playing a land and saying go. Turn 2 is another tap land for Sal. Also for Ami, another tap land. Looks like it's going to be a tap land battle. Just kidding. Sal throwing down the Pia Nalaar, but it's just going to get killed with an Abrade. He does have that Thopter though. Maybe Ami took out some of his action and tried to side into more mid-range to try to pace a little bit better. Ami goes down to 19, taking a hit from the Thopter. And Sal throws down that Scrap Heap Scrounger. That Scrounger, let me bring it up real quick. Exile another target creature from your graveyard. Return a Scrounger from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it cannot block. 3/2 body though. It's pretty decent. Ami throws down Chandra, which we can bring that one up too. Chandra's pretty good, but it looks like she's going to get pinged down. And that Chain Whirler comes in and then killed outright with the Scrappy and the Thopter coming in. Sal seems to be sitting in pretty good control of this match right now. Yeah, this matchup right now getting off is turning out to be pretty bad, although Ami does get a second Chandra out. Not sure how effective it's going to be, considering Sal's just going to swing right into it. Oh, and I believe that is... Let's double check. That's some spice. What is that card? It's like the Red Saga MTG. The Flame of Keld, that's right. There we go. You discard your hand, you draw 2 cards, and then if red forces you control deal damage to a permanent another player controls, it deals 2 additional damage instead. Seems pretty good as Sal takes down that match. Seems like Ami's attempt to side into control, not control, but the side into mid-range, bringing in more answers to try to slow down Sal, didn't quite work. Just didn't have enough threats. I think if anything, he needs to take those out and make sure to bring back in his just his faster cards. Although I do like the Flame of Keld. I think that's pretty spicy. Probably by the time you play it, you either don't have much of a hand, or you're discarding 1 card. It's not like it's a big deal discarding your whole hand. How are you doing tonight, Gandalf? How is your Monday evening? Not sure why I put Mambo. What's up, Margos? Yeah, it's pretty decent. Getting extra damage. Anytime you get extra damage is pretty sauce. I like it in modern, but at the same time, I think it's too slow. I don't know what deck it would like belong in necessarily. I feel like it could maybe have a home if like Naya Burn or some type of zoo deck, because you have enough burn spells in there, but I don't know what you would take out. And even then, it's just slow, so it's not actually good. But I mean, I like a lot of bad ideas, so. Resplendent Angel is pretty cool. Let me bring that card up. That's a fun card just to look at. Were you playing on MTGO or something else? It does combo with Chain Whirler, which is, that's kind of like the insane thing, right? Like how much exactly 3 damage to the whole board. That's just good. At the beginning of each end step, if you gained 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance until end of turn. Resplendent Angel gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. And I mean, that's just, there's so much value on that card for 3 mana. Even just the 3/3 for 3, that's just great value in Standard. Alan taps for turn 3 here, having double black sources already. But Ami seems to have slayed down a bunch of stuff, and Sal's at 11. What did I miss? Sal goes into 8. I'm relearning Standard. I've been out of Standard for a while, so I'm trying to catch up and get more proficient with it. And as in more proficient, I mean actually proficient. Oh, Paper Magic? That's cool. Oh, you're in a different time zone, aren't you, Gandalf? There goes Sal making energy. Here comes a second scrap roller. I can't ever say it right. Let me see. Scrap Heap Scrounger. It's not even that hard to say, James. Jeez Louise. Scrap Heap Scrounger. With Chain Whirler and Glorybringer. Like, I don't really see what Ami's going to do, especially now that he's at 3. And unless he top decks... Yep, there it goes. Ami extends a hand. Sal cleans it up. Pretty interesting matchup. Sorry that I could not flavor that more eloquently with some better commentary, folks. But basically, like I said before the game started, it seems that the black-red mid-range was able to have answers for mono-red's threats, whereas mono-red was trying to outrace and just couldn't quite get there. I think play and draw has a lot to do with who wins this matchup. Whether you're on the play or on the draw, and if you get that saucy opening 7. East Coast represent. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. Yeah, it's still kind of early over here for us. It's only 7:30, so we got some time. You see, wow, okay, so Sal took out his Karns and his Chandras and just brought in gas, basically. And Ami, it looks like he sided out hard. And I don't know if he should have brought the Chandras in. Like, we saw him play them and they just got ran over. I think it would have been better if he kept other removal. Good for Sal. He takes round 1 win versus Ami. And I will go see if there are any other games still playing. And we will be right back. Stay tuned. back. So what it looks like right now is I've got Carlo and Alex, who are currently in a game 2, possibly going to game 3. If Carlo wins, it'll go to game 3, and we'll get them up on the stream. If Carlo loses, then by that time it'll be kind of the end of the round. But it's looks like 2 control matches, blue-white control versus like a Simic control. And I'll go back out there real quick and take a peek and see if we can't get them on the stream. So we'll be right back once more. What's up, guys? Still waiting for round 3 to start. There weren't any games that were able to switch over to the feature match area at this time. Carlo and Alex's game only went to 2 games, and everyone else is either already in their 3rd games, waiting for the round to stop, or something like that. So we're just kind of going to hang out for a minute. What's up? Turned on the studio camera and thought I would say howdy. Looks like round 2 pairings are actually going up right now. Let me go find out who's going to be out there. I will be right back. Hey, what up, Brutal Wolf and Weapon X? How y'all doing? All right, so we're coming into round 2. We got Wagner versus Will, or William. I like to go Will with 1 L because I feel it's edgy. I'm not sure if that's actually how he spells it himself. I believe Wagner is on mono red. This is the funny part. Oops, I got the names and the decks in the wrong spots. 1 sec, folks. And funny enough, Will is on black red mid range. All right, looks like Will is going first, laying down his tap land and passing to Wagner, who probably immediately recognizes what he's playing. See if I can pull up a list for Wagner. It's like turn 1, he's bringing out the Beaumont Courier. Let me pull that up here real quick. Oh, you guys don't need to see my face anymore. Beaumont Courier has haste. Whenever Beaumont Courier attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. You can pay 1 red, discard your hand, sacrifice Beaumont Courier, and put all cards exiled with it into their owner's hands. It looks like it already got killed by Will. He burned it out. Looks like Will used... What would Will have used? Oh, that's a magma spray. Magma spray deals 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die, you exile it instead. Not sure if it matters, but I need to go remind Wagner that his dude is exiled. Be right back. Again, not sure how relevant that was, but it should be in the right place as it belongs. Looks like Will's down to 15 life here. Not sure what that other creature is that Wagner has out on the field. Will's down to 5 now. 5 or 6, it's hard to see. The camera kind of gets fuzzy at the top. We'll say 6 until we notice otherwise. Yeah, better safe than sorry. Wagner throws down that Red Saga, and again, like earlier, we forgot what it was. Something of Keld. Let me just do this. Red Saga, MTG, Gatherer. Flame of Keld, that's right. Boom. Wow, it looks like Will is stabilizing here a bit. He's got 2 Rekindling Phoenixes. It's that 4/3 for 4 that flies. It's going to put Wagner on a pretty decent little clock here. Wagner's down to 16 life. There goes a Chain Whirler. I believe it's Goblin Chain Whirler if I type it correctly. Pretty rad Goblin. It's got first strike. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. Will is down to 3, however, and it looks like Wagner is close to finishing out this game. Yeah, that Phoenix is pretty dope. I mean, being able to yeah, I can bring that one up too. When it dies, you create a 0/1 red elemental token creature with at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the creature and return target card named Rekindling Phoenix. I mean, it's a lot of value, especially once you get a Glorybringer out on the field at the same time. Wagner's going to take a big hit here, go down to 8. And maybe I'm just not giving Will enough credit, and he's just holding on. Question is, can Wagner top deck some type of oh, I guess it's over. I must have missed it while I was trying to look up which burn cards will actually hit to the face. And I will tell you what, it is getting hot in here. Kind of want to take all my clothes off, but too bad. Can't do it. It wouldn't change how hot it is. It would still be sweating terribly, profusely. Oops. So looking at the sideboard for black red mid range, I'm curious as if we will see Will do what Sal did and keep out the planeswalkers and bring in more removal. Of course, I can't get Will's name to sit in the right spot. That's fine. We'll put it right there. As I go to move it one more time, that's also fine. And then for that mono red deck, we see popular deck lists carry 2 Chandra's Defeat, 3 or 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance, some Fight with Fires, and Glory Bringers. I can see the Glory Bringers coming in. I don't know if if Wagner has his own Rekindling Phoenixes. Seems to be kind of a who can get their red out first situation. I do need a set of extra eyes. I need a co-host with me, Weapon X, but everybody was either busy or not feeling great. And sometimes you just gotta take one for the team and slam it, do it yourself. Which is fine. Everything's fine. We're fine here. How are you? As the place burns to the ground. So there's Wookiees shouting and screaming. Doesn't help I'm wearing 2 shirts either, so you know. Alright, Wagner with a quick turn 1. Take it that Will won the last game if Wagner's playing turn 1. Turn 1, Wagner is throwing out that sweet, sweet card that we don't have a copy of. Or we don't know what it is because it's not in this MTG Top 8 list. Will goes to shoot down Wagner's creature on the end step. Or that was during his main phase, not sure. Oh, thanks, Weapon X. I appreciate it. Doing the best I can. I'll get better at it. A few more. I've been trying to watch a lot more standard events, drafting, and stuff like that. I watched a lot of SCG had a big tournament this weekend, as well as Magic the Gathering. Wagner hitting Will with a lightning strike. I know that one. I played that one before. Looks like Will's down to 15. 15-14, I suspect. Wagner plays Chandra, Torch of Defiance. We'll pop that up here for you. You guys can get a peek. Wrong one. Don't look at the guy behind the screen. Chandra gets shot down pretty quick, but Wagner is able to get that Saga of Keld up in there. Will's got double black now, which I feel is much more relevant. Well, the question is what is he going to do with it? Wagner currently having no hand, having cast his Saga. He will be drawing cards next turn. 2 cards to be precise. Will plays his own Chandra, which hopefully he'll have a little bit of turn. Hopefully Wagner won't draw into some gas to be able to remove it. But if Chandra got plussed, he looks like he's exiling the top card of his library. He may cast that card. If you don't, Chandra Torch of Defiance will deal 2 damage to each opponent. Which looks like Wagner's at 18. I must have mistaken that. 4 must have been a 9. Wagner playing his own Chandra, exiling. Being a Chain Whirler, he's not able to cast it. Going to get rid of Chandra. With a Braid. I think I personally undervalued a Braid. Just as a player, I didn't realize the relevance of it in Standard, being that it just kills Planewalkers. Yeah, Chandras are just getting whacked all over the place. Did the Keld go up to 3 yet? No, oh, I think this is the 3. That's fine. Wagner getting his god out there. Mr. Hazaret the Fervent, who is indestructible and has haste. Which he can't attack if you have 1, unless you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. Which the bird will die, but then he'll get a token. Yeah, Hazaret's a house. I mean, he's a 5/4 for 4. And he's a shock machine. Chandra's going to go up to 6 as Wagner exiles a card that he technically can play. If he wants a land. I thought he could play it. Why didn't he? Why didn't you play it, Wagner? Oh, maybe it has to be a card you have to cast because it says you may cast the card. Since you don't cast lands, that's probably why. Kindling Phoenix is going to come in, swing at Chandra, take it down to 2. Will's going to untap, play his own Hazaret. That's not Hazaret. Let's see. That is Pia Nalar with a token. Getting that 1/1 colorless Thopter token. Pia, Pia, Mama Pia. Mama Pia, let me go. These Thopter tokens will protect me. Yeah, you can pay 2. Target artifact creature gets +1/+0 to end a turn. Pretty dope, because you can sink your mana into it late game. Or you pay 1 and sack an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. Hazaret's going to swing in. Looks like Will's going to throw his Thopter in front of it. Block the damage. Wagner with 1 card in hand, it looks like. Yeah, fire breathing token. It's pretty dope. What I did miss was that Will went down to 7. Looks like Wagner's still at 18. Now, Will is a player who does kind of find himself in the tank. Looks like he's got a Glorybringer in hand. I don't see why he doesn't just slam it down. Of course, I mean, the Phoenix could just outright kill Chandra anyway. But instead, he's just going to swing with the Glorybringer only. Glorybringer having flying and haste, you may exert it on it when it attacks. If you do, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. Scoot this over here so that way we can kind of see what's in Wagner's graveyard. Kicking butt. Yeah, he's not doing bad. Wagner is a worthy opponent, but so is Will. Will does pretty good too. You can't really count Will out. Will down to 5. Getting beat down. Oh yeah, Glory got Chandra defeated. Good point. Because Chandra, you can -1 to deal 4 damage to target creature. Chandra has so many options. I'm strange seeing such. It is strange to see Chandra, say that 3 times fast, with that many options to choose from as a planeswalker. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think Will's supposed to have a token for his Phoenix. I'm gonna go ask real quick. I will be right back. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Weapon X. It got upgraded, which I missed while I was trying to look up something. So, case of needing an extra pair of eyes, but that's fine. We see a Walking Ballista for 2, which is not bad. Although Ballista is so weak to Abrade, it is so easily doesn't give a rip about Blade because you can just, in response, blast a creature or your opponent. I will say this, Wagner is kind of hard to read. I know he's got 1 card in hand, and it's hard to figure out. He's got a good poker face. It's hard to tell if he's full of it or if he's got gas in his hand. Here comes a Chain Whirler. Picking Will for 1, taking him to 4. I think this is still... Oh no, this is game 2. That's right. I believe this is game 2. So he's going to throw down his ballista, declare the block, and then shoot Wagner for 2, taking him to 15. Hezeret does not get through. Will trying to figure out what he's got in his grave. Double checking his grave. Exiling the ballista to bring back the scrap heap scrounger. Dun, 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 dun. Wagner also checking out his grave, probably exiling some cards here for his own scrap heap. Oh no, never mind. Will is attacking with the chain whirler and a scrap heap scrounger. Dropping Wagner down to 10 and then playing his Phoenix. Says go. He is trying to bring that aggro against that mid-range. It looks like a chain whirler will come down and get the win for Wagner, and they will go to game number 3. Yep, it's over. Both players are going to recheck their decks and sideboards and see if maybe, excuse me, that they have something a little more. Dang it, I always grab the wrong freaking box. That's fine. Make that nice and cute down there at the bottom. No, they are not kind to the one-man commentary. Thanks for the sympathy, the empathy, the pity. But it's all right. It's probably not as entertaining as you just like watching the match happen on its own. And again, the majority of the issue is I'm still relearning Standard. I stopped playing Standard for like 3 years, about 3 years ago, and focused heavily on Modern. And even then, I was pretty casual about playing. Learned the Modern meta pretty well, and I know that pretty well. These Standard decks, it's all... When the vehicles came in, I was like, no, I'm fine, thanks. You can take your vehicles and go somewhere with them. Get our tip cup up in there. How do I feel about Standard now? I think that it's better now. It seems a lot healthier in comparison. Like, you have cards like Fatal Push still and Abrade, which give aggro players in particular ways to work around just those ridiculously powerful control cards. Although the vehicles that are still Standard, I mean, they're not as broken as like Looter Scooter, which when they banned that, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm done, because that was the only one I liked and the only one that I would play. Will playing a land tapped. Wagner bringing out that hasty dude, that Bomat Courier. Like, I was looking at, there's a guy playing tonight, and we may or may not have him next round. Alan, he plays a green-white kind of aggro deck, and that seems kind of like my style, like what I'm used to playing. So I thought that I might play something like that, but At the same time, I did just invest a lot of money in my modern deck, and I don't know if I want to buy a whole new deck right now, but that's fine. We'll just have to see how it goes. Especially considering I kind of want to go to GP LA because a lot of the dudes here from Collector Legion will be going. I feel like it will be fun to go. And part of me is like, why would I go to a GP if I'm not going to play the main event? So I should try to play more standard. Get back in it full-fledged. Nope, and here I go, messing up my thing again. That's fine. So Will's got his own scrap heap scrounger. Hey, I said it right the first time. But it is going to take a lightning strike. And Wagner is going to swing in. Before damage, it seems Will is going to kill off one of those creatures and be taking 1. Down to 18. Will's got his energy count up to 1. Playing that Aether Hub. I believe it's Aether Hub. Let's see. Yeah, just Aether Hub. And there's a Ballista for 2. What about you, Weapon X? Do you play Standard? Or Card Chica? Looks like Wagner's going to throw it on a Braid, but in response, will shoot down Wagner's creature with his ballista bullets. Pew pew. Yes. Yes, you do. Grid energy. Oh, okay. With the, is it Aetherport Grid? The card that makes it grid, tapping artifacts to shoot things. Will throws down a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Said it right a second time. For those of you keeping count, you can take a shot every time I say Scrap Heap Scrounger correctly. Grid that is. Yeah, I've seen that card played in Modern as a sideboard card for Affinity, and I tell you what, it sucks being on the other side of the table with a creature-based aggro deck, and they just tap down your stuff and shoot them. Pew pew. Mainly Modern at the moment. Jump back in for Energy, but they banned it, so left again. Yeah, that was the other thing. Energy, I felt weird about Energy. Looks like both Scrap Heaps are going to get in, and Wagner's going to go down to 14. Will is not giving up this win without a fight. And he's got a Chandra on the field for 1 after having killed Wagner's Chainwheeler. Especially played Aetherworks Marvel and moved to Temur Energy. Oh, okay, cool. I played tokens with the I don't even remember the real name of it. I just called it the Looter Scooter because that's what everyone else called it. It is the Smuggler's Copter. That's right. The 3/3 for 2. That allowed you to scry and crew for 1. That was a fun deck. Because you're an aggro deck that gets to look through your deck and set up your draws. Then it got banned. Sad. Terribly sad. Another Chainwheeler on the field killed Chandra. Yeah, Will does seem pleased with himself. I haven't seen what his other card in hand is, but the way his mannerisms are compared to Wagner's, which Wagner contemplating whether or not he's attacking this turn. Will definitely seems to think he has the upper hand at the moment, which the life totals would suggest he is correct. What deck do you play in Modern, Cardchica? Will with no blocks, as I wouldn't block either. Goes down to 13. Gonna swing in for 6. Wagner with 4 land and 2 card in hand. Takes the 6. Dang. Goes to 8. Will plays a 3rd Scrap Heap Scrounger. Take another shot, folks. And what is this that Wagner is playing? Making him discard a Glorybringer? What is it? Is it? It's not cut to ribbons. Yeah, Wagner seems to have some deck tech that is not in the average Red Deck Wins list here. Drunt mainly, but I play it pre-BB. Oh, Bloodbraid Elf. Move to Mardu Pyro right now. There's a guy who was playing humans for a long time. Local here named Ami was playing humans and switched to Mardu Pyromancer, and he seems to like it much more based off the interaction. 1 Scrap Heap will take damage. Wagner goes down to 2. What does he top deck? Top decks a land and extends the hand, and Will takes the win. Good job, Will. That was actually a surprisingly long match. I thought it would have been over much faster. Kind of like how Sal and Ami's was in round 1. What am I playing? I'm currently playing, it's like a variant of humans. I was playing 5-color ally, which it wasn't really 5-color. It was like sideboarded 5-color. Props to the humans player. Oh, to Ami? Yeah. Well, his issue with humans is how it's either super explosive or super inconsistent for him. Which, I mean, that's the story of like creature-based aggro decks. Either they blow up or they get blown up. And so I think he likes the hand disruption, and he likes, you know, to be able to bolt something and path something on the same turn, or push something, or all 3. Which who doesn't, I guess, which makes sense. But my deck right now is like humans, except for what it does is it runs 4 champions, 4 Thalia's Lieutenants, 4 nobles, but it also has some allies in it. It runs I'm trying out currently 3 Hada Freeblades, 3 Oran Reef Survivalists, and 4 Kazandu Blade Masters. And those particular allies are kind of like Champion of the Parish, where whenever another ally enters the battlefield, they get bigger. But they are also humans, so they make Champion of the Parish bigger, and Thalia's Lieutenant bigger, and they get boosted by Thalia's Lieutenant. And so then I also run Collected Company, 4 of, and I run Hardened Scales, 4 of, and then 3 Paths to Exile. And so, so far in playtesting, it's done pretty decent. It's much more linear than the 5-color allies, which that was basically an aggro deck. It ran a bunch of different allies who all had ETBs. Some of them gave evasion, some gave first strike, some gave protection from color until end of turn on ETB. So there's just ETBs all over the place of different kinds. And then I ran 4 Cocos, 4 Vials, and it was like 30 or 31 creatures and like 19 lands. Cavern of Souls and Cavern of Souls, what's the ally land? It's ally encampment and I think 1 or 2 unclaimed territories. And that's a fun deck. Like there was one of the main, if you don't aggro them, you mill them, because there's an ally that anytime another ally enters the battlefield, whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield, target player mills cards equal to the number of allies you control. So if you get multiples of those guys out on the field, it's pretty dope, because there's also an ally that's basically a phantasmal image. Only when you target it, it doesn't die. So when it enters the battlefield, you can copy any other ally you have on the battlefield. And I could talk about allies all day. It's one of my favorite decks. I played it in standard a long ass time ago. For the most part, it had just pretty good synergy and it was pretty consistent, except it was super weak to removal and hand disruption, and then it had a hard time with flyers. So my deck now is close to the same deck. Like it has a lot of the same general synergy, except it's all based around humans. The difference between my deck and a real human deck is mine does not have the interaction. I don't have the meddling mages, or I don't have the reflector mages. Basically, I don't have the wizards or the Mantis Rider. But what I do have is there's also 3 Abzan Falconers main board, which is pretty cool because you can Coco into it and then your dudes are flying. And so far it's pretty fun. And it also has, forgot to mention, 3 Metallic Mimics, which can be humans, which make human creatures enter the battlefield with an extra +1/+1 counter. Well, it makes any creature type you choose, but obviously I choose human. And then they enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them, which all the allies enter with 1 on them anyways. So like say there's a Hardened Scales and a Metallic Mimic out there, all the allies enter the battlefield and then they get 4 counters on them, and it's pretty sick. I think it's 4. My math might be wrong, I'll have to check. So it enters, has 1 in itself, Hardened Scales doubles it to 2, Metallic Mimic gives it an additional 1. Yeah, so 4. Pretty dope. And then of course, you know, Coco. Collected Company. It's one of my favorite cards. But that round is over. So let me go out real quick and see if there is another game that can move over to the feature table. I will be right back. Well, it seems like every game that is still currently playing out there right now is, in fact, already in Game 3. Turn on this music a little bit. It's a little heavy. Abzan Falconer seems like a good add to a beatdown flying. Yeah, I mean, because everybody's getting counters. Like, literally all my creatures have counters. The Mimic and the Lieutenant make sure of it. And then with the scales, it kind of adds. Although, I'm curious to see if I were to remove the removal, the Pass to Exile, and try 3 Aether Vials on top of that. I don't know if that's just too much. Because technically it's the same number of non-creature spells I'm already Cocoing into, and it just kind of, I don't know, it's hard. Like, having Coco and Vial is great sometimes, and then other times it's really bad when you Coco and there's Vials and lands in it and no creatures in the Collected Company, and you just whiff. Whiffing is like the worst feeling, one of the worst feelings, probably barely above losing. Is it worth starting a modern deck now? And if so, what would you recommend? Chico will probably agree. Weapon X kind of depends on what archetypes you like to play. Are you a aggro player, a control player, or a mid-range player? Since those are like the 3 major ones. I mean, I personally like the aggro build. Worst, oh yeah, I would say, I mean, if you like playing Magic, it's another format to play. There's some great mid-range decks out there, and it's not like you have to go out and buy all of them now. I mean, you can just take your time. Jund is one of the more popular mid-range decks. It's a great deck. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got powerful creatures and powerful early game magic, hand disruption, and removal, like 1-for-1 removal. I've heard it's kind of weak to like some control matches, like game 1, but I think it sides into some pretty decent cards. I mean, but there's the great thing about Modern is there's so many decks out there. Yeah, it can be expensive, so it's something that you definitely, like I said, you don't feel like you have to rush out into it. No, you can buy a couple pieces here, a couple pieces there. Thinking myself out of the problems. Not sure what that means, but that's cool. If see. Trying to figure out something over here on the dashboard side of the chat. That's fine. It's not like a tier 1 deck right now, but a mid-range deck that was kind of fun was like Tokens. That is a good point, Chica. There are lots of different Facebook groups for different archetypes where people who like to play that archetype will chat about their current deck lists, what's working for them and their like local metas, and you can compare, you know, take notes and stuff and see, because one particular deck list or a couple set of cards might be great in one area, but then, you know, maybe in your local everyone else is playing Affinity. Like, you know, you could change your main board up, and which Affinity is an artifact heavy deck. Lost the audio from the studio. Did I do something? Check. Can you guys hear me? There is a delay here, so I can't see yet. Type F if you can hear my voice. Nobody's typing F, so I'm guessing you can't hear my voice. We'll go back to this setup real quick. Can you guys hear me? Out there in the world? It is back. Awesome, great. I'm not sure. I might have clicked something there. Not sure. Which I should probably see if this is the next round starting or not. So I will be right back. Just double checking. Could hear you, but no music or voice. Lost audio now. Oh. Well, we'll see if we can't fix it. Well, we got Will back here and Sal. We've seen both of these guys play so far. It's going to be a mirror match. That black-red mid-range mirror match. Though I do believe Sal has a bit of a different setup than Will does. Looks like Will might be mulliganing down to 6. And Sal is happy with his opening hand. Got a couple different lists here, so hopefully between the two different mid-range lists we can figure out any cards that we don't recognize. So we shall see. Is it still no music or voice? All right, Will's checking out his 6, liked it. Played a land, said go. Sal returning the land. Land battle. Just voice. Yeah, it should be just voice now. I messed up how to have those smooth jams, a different playlist in the background while I'm supposed to be talking. And I can't seem to get the programming right, but that's fine. Sal plays a scrap heap and it immediately gets killed. And then Will plays his own scrap heap. It'll be interesting to see if Sal is going to return the retaliation, or if it's going to become a let me build up my hand and then dump it out at you. Looks like Sal goes down to 16. A chain whirler comes out, a shiny one, and it gets blasted with an unlicensed disintegration, I believe. Sal brings out a Chandra and gets a walking ballista for 1. I think I'm like 2 or 3 turns behind because Will also still has a scrap heap scrounger. But that's all right. Sal's gonna use his Ballistae. Shoots Will to 19. Chandra's down to 2. The thing is, I believe Will does not run any Karns, and Sal does. And Karn is a house in any deck. We'll bring him up here in the chat. Well, not in the chat, in the screen here. So it looks like he plussed his Karn. Got a Chain Whirler exiled, the other card put in his hand. I didn't see what it was because I was a bit distracted. Here comes another Chain Whirler. It's going to shoot Karn for 1. Chandra's at 2. Karn down to 5, I should say. Looks like he's trying to decide if he's going to plus Karn or minus Karn. You can minus Karn to put a card from the silver counter exile into your hand. Which he could bring that Chain Whirler to his hand and then cast it. Seems pretty good. Or you minus 2 and make a dude. That construct is pretty cool. It gets a +1/+1 for each artifact you control. With the Scrap Heap Scroungers and the Walking Ballista, it can get pretty big. Chandra's going to get plussed. Reveal a Glorybringer. Glorybringer goes into exile. Sal will choose to cast his Phoenix instead. Now Sal just has a ridiculous board state. I think the song, can't remember the name of the song, but that one song that goes, anything you can do, I can do better. Should be playing right now. Will folds his hands to think. Goes to combat. After all, Chain Whirler is a boss. He don't give a rip. Sal gonna block with his own Chain Whirler. Keep his side alive. And Will's just gonna scoop. Should they have used Chandra's ability first? You know, in hindsight, I think so, because being able to, yeah. I could ask him. let him know it's what you're thinking. Give me. Well, maybe after the match. It looks like they're going to game 3. Game 2 or game 3. I lost track already. I think that was still just game 1. So it looks like they're going to game 2. But I will make a note to ask Sal about why he didn't Chandra first. Maybe because if you use Karn and yeah, I think it's maybe because Karn reveals 2 cards, and even though your opponent gets to choose 1 to go to your hand and 1 to stay in exile with a silver counter on it, it's still 2 cards as opposed to 1. So it's just moving that much more cards out of your way and thinning out your deck. But I'm not entirely sure. That would be my uneducated guess. Definitely Mama efficient. Super Mama. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he was definitely trying to make sure that he used his mana as efficient as possible. I think it's pretty relevant in the mirror matchup. Now we saw that when Sal played against Mono Red that he took out his Chandras, but it looks like he's leaving in his Chandras, at least one of them. And has 5 cards that he's going to be sighting in. Pardon the noise, I need to take a quick sip of my swig here. Try to hydrate.
It is delicious, but I would say not nutritious. Haha. You may have learned to use the mid-range, Will, but I was born in it. Mwah.
Just kidding. A little bit of in-between game fun. Failed voice acting skills. It appears Will is still contemplating. He's got a stack of cards there he's looking at. I'm guessing one is his side out and one is his side in. Sal's already shuffling up. I know Sal is definitely planning on going to GP Los Angeles. He said specifically he wants to practice more standard to be able to be as competitive as possible. Times where I sound like Ryan Reynolds, that might be the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. So I will pursue that with the best of my abilities. I happen to like his voice very much. Even though I have mixed feelings on Deadpool 2. I just saw that not that long ago. I guess it was a couple weeks now. It was an entertaining movie, I would say. There was like plot development. You had to like think and feel about it. It wasn't all dick jokes and butt jokes and blood and, you know, but whatever. Excuse me. Oh, what's that, fellow commentator? You think I should ask people what their voices sound like? I don't know if they, I mean, they could just say anything. How would I know if they're being honest? They could say they sound like Sean Connery or like Melissa Etheridge. I don't know. I'm just thinking of random names to say to suggest what your guys' voice sounds like. You were miserable? Aw, I'm sorry. It's definitely, I think Deadpool as a character is not everyone's cup of tea. You're either going to enjoy watching a Deadpool movie or you're going to hate it. He's like the best and worst in all of us, I think, is the intention anyway. It's the impression I get. Because there's definitely some times where I just want to shoot someone in the face and not care about it and just walk away. But, you know, there's other times where I feel real bad for a little kid, and I'm willing to like give my life. Make sure that kid doesn't get stomped on by some time traveler bent on revenge. Alright, we're going to the next game here. I should fix the life totals. So it looks like Will be on the play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Will was not on a mulligan. I don't know if I think that was the last game he was on a mulligan. Excuse me. I'm not sure if they're... Oh, okay. Will was contemplating. As we've seen him go in the tank, both players playing their tap lands first. Not a lot of turn 1 plays, excuse me, for this black-red mid-range. But it has turn 2s galore as we see a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Ba -ba -dum -ba. 3 tap lands for Will, as he's probably holding on to either a Lightning Strike or an Abrade. Scrap Heap's going to come in. Oh, and it's going to get in for that sweet 3 damage. If you guys hear a lot of commotion in the background, it's because we got our pretty big group of players for D&D tonight, and they're doing some cool missions as Pia Nalar comes down to the field, making that Thopter Toke. Gadoosh. Chainwheeler's going to come out, shoot that Thopter down, and also shoot Will, take him to 16. I'm really liking this mid-range deck. Hey, what's up, Arya? Thanks for stopping by. How are you doing tonight? Oh, excuse me. I like half burped but didn't. That was weird. Apologies, folks. Mountain Dew, we'll do that to you. Will plays his own Chainwhirler and then Lightning Strikes Sal's Chainwhirler. Lightning Strikes or Magma Spray? Let me see. That was Magma Spray. Apologies. Mountain Dew is definitely Bay. Overslept and missed Magic. Aw, bummer. Yeah, we got quite a few players tonight too. Oh, there's some of that sideboard spice I was talking about Sal having, where not everybody runs it. That looks like a Doomfall. Choose one. Target opponent exiles a creature he or she controls. So target opponent reveals his or her hand. You may choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. Pretty good. It does cost 3 mana, but it does have 2 modes. So I guess that's not terrible. Let me pull that up here. Up close and personal. Oversleeping and loving Mountain Dew does kind of sound funny in the same like paragraph. Oh, we missed a Glorybringer. Glorybringer, Chainwhirler, and Pia all swinging for damage. As it looks like Sal is down to 9. Sal saying go, Will untapping. But Glorybringer is going to get slammed. Slam dunked. Slam jammed. With the Veriska's Contempt, exile a target creature or planeswalker and you gain 2 life. That's a cute card. It does cost 4 mana. But it is instant speed, and it does gain you life, so Sal is back up to 11. Yeah, working nights is rough. I've done it. I still do it sometimes. Sometimes I drive Lyft on the side for my day job, and it's pretty lame. Chainwhirler's going to swing in from Will's side towards Sal. P is going to equip. Not equip, sorry. Crew a vehicle, but the vehicle is going to get disintegrated in an unlicensed kind of way. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's. I think from my point of view, it's aggressive enough, but also mid, like enough answers to things. Which is part of the reason why I don't know that I want to get rid of my Path to Exiles in my modern deck, because I like having answers. Especially Path, because worst case, if I'm stuck on land, I can attempt to get unstuck by pathing one of my own creatures. And a Abrade comes out, hits that Chain Whirler. I think it's an Abrade. I'll double check. The camera is like just too far away for me to get a good read on all of these cards. It is, yeah, thank you. It is indeed. There's definitely some cool art from Amonkhet, I will say that. Saul slams down Karn while he's at 2 life, revealing a land. And another, I think that was Vraska's Contempt. Vraska's Contempt will get a silver counter. Will slams down a Planeswalker that I did not see which one it was. Looks like it was, oh, Angrath the Flame Chained. Each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. On a -2, you get to untap it. It gains hasteful end of turn. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step if it has converted mana cost of 3 or less. That's pretty saucy. -8, each opponent loses life equal to the number of cards in his or her graveyard. That is pretty saucy. Yeah, Angrath. A lot of blue-white standard decks and red aggro decks. So this mid-range is fun. A few Grixis here and there. Yeah, blue-white. Blue-white seems pretty popular. There's over here, the meta seems to be blue-white control, green stompy, mono-red, or black-red. Or red-black, rather, mid-range. Angrath seems like a house of the most minotaurish type of way, flaming minotaur. Those magma chains wrapped around his chest as he navigates the sea of your demise. I don't know. I actually don't know much of the flavor of a... Oh, does he? Awesome. That's one thing I still need to try also is MTG Arena. I'm just now getting back into MTGO. Our store is located in the town of city of Gardena, or as it should be pronounced because it's a Spanish word, Gardenia, in the South Bay area of Los Angeles. So we are close to Inglewood and Compton and Torrance and Redondo. I think all touch Gardena in some way, shape, or form, which is really weird. Like the way this county is lined out and the cities nearby, it's really weird. I think, no, we're just on the other side, like literally a block away towards the east. It is actually city of Los Angeles, because the city of Los Angeles has a strip of land that goes all the way down to Long Beach. Yeah, we are West Coast. We are Southern California. You're the Northeast. Northeast, cool. Like New York or Massachusetts. Trying to think of the Northeast states. Rhode Island, Maine, Canada. Just kidding. New York, nice. I've been to New York a few times. I would like to go again. I want to experience a winter in New York City, which a lot of my friends say I'm crazy, but I like snow, and I do have family in northern New York, near, shoot, what city is it? It's where Kodak's from. I think it's Rochester? Winchester? No, it's Rochester. Sal's ready to go. Will is still shuffling, trying to get that perfect shuffle for those perfect 7 cards. Yeah, I think it is Rochester. It's pretty close-ish to the border. I remember being a kid visiting family, and I think we drove to Niagara Falls in like an hour or 2. Something like it didn't. I could be misremembering, but it wasn't that far. We went to Canada for like 2 hours, and I thought it was the coolest thing because I was like 9 years old, like I'm in another country. Yeah, it is. It is up there. Excuse me. Suddenly, coughing, and not the Pokemon. Looks like Sal is going to mulligan. 2.5 hours? Yeah, that sounds about right. Looks like both players are mulliganing, unless Will is still shuffling, which I don't think that's the case. I think I looked away for a second, and they are both going to go to 6. Welcome if anyone is new in the chat. We are Collector Legion, streaming some Monday Night Standard Magic. I am James, your host, aka James the Jew on all social medias, except Facebook where I use my full name, but you know, all those people would be like, why do you call yourself a Jew? It's because I'm a Jew. And other people are like, wow, you're Jewish? I'm like, so? It's not a big deal. It's like, wow, you're white? I like spaghetti just like everybody else. I'm kidding. I don't know where this line is going. Sorry, I'm not making any sense. Here we go. Looks like both players are keeping their 6. Sal's passing his land and saying go. Playing a land, saying go. It's been a long day, guys. I think it's wearing down on me a little bit. There's a Scrap Heap Scrounger turn 2 for Sal. Let's see if Will... Oh, flavorless spaghetti is terrible. One of my best friends growing up, his mom was Jewish and his dad was from Italy, like Italian, so they had like the best food. Hey, see you later, Weapon X. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again. We're streaming all week, so come by anytime in the evening. We should have something going. Have a good night. Will throwing down that magma spray, killing a Scrap Heap Scrounger, and exiling it. And casting a Chain Whirler on his turn. Chain Whirler's pretty good here, but it's going to get zapped. As Sal seems to have his own Angrath in hand, ready to go. He used Cut to Ribbons on the Chain Whirler, which cut a 2-mana sorcery, 1 red, 1 color, deals 4 damage to target creature, and then Ribbons. Each opponent loses X life for 2 black and X. That seems like it'll be pretty good late game. Will does have another Chain Whirler out on the field, but it seems like Sal is stuck on 3 land. Chain Whirler comes out and gets abraded. Second main, there's a Scrounger, but Scrounger's going to get killed as well. With looks like a different Magma Spray. Now Sal plays his own Scrounger. And there's another Scrounger, and you get a Scrounger, and you get a Scrounger. Sal slow playing that land. It's kind of cool how he gets lucky and does that sometimes. 1 Scrounger gets in, we're down to 17 to 15. I guess it's been lucky for me that everybody, or most everybody, is playing either red or black-red mid-range. Have been the most popular decks tonight. It is now 14-12 as Sal plays Chandra, gets rid of Will's Scrap Heap Scrounger by minusing Chandra. Will plays another Scrap Heap Scrounger, and at this point I kind of want to deck check. Just kidding. Will abrades Chandra away. Swings in for 3 more damage. Sal goes down to 9. And at this point, it's not an actual top deck war, but it's kind of like who can top deck the gas to keep their Scrounger alive or kill the other person's Scrounger first. Angrath comes down. And let's bring him back up. Gonna plus Angrath, hit Will for 2, and then swing in at Will, take Will to 9. Will is going to unlicensed disintegration the Scrounger and get in for 6. Get in for 3 rather. Sal's at 6. But it's already shuffled back over to Will by the time I'm done typing in the life. Chandra's defeat. I'm not. Torch of Defiance, I think, is the Chandra. Oh, Chandra's defeat. I get you. Chandra defeated the Chandra. Clever. Cute, in fact. Seems like Ami's out there helping me with the life totals, as it is now 7-1. And Sal is in the tank trying to figure out how he can stay alive here and beat Will. Got a couple cards in hands. It looks like a Magma Spray, a Vraska's Contempt, and he's going to use the Vraska's Contempt on the Scrounger. Go to 3. Seems decent. Yeah, we had a series of turns there that were like real fast, and I lost track of which turns were where. There's a Glory Bringer, and that's just game. Sal extends the hand to Will, and Will takes it. 2-1. Good job, Will. That was some faster magic there at the end. I like it when it gets fast. I'm not sure if we have a 4th round tonight, so I will be back after I go check real quick. In the event that there's not, I will also be back to say goodbye. So hang out for a second. I'll go see if there is another game out there, game 3 that we can get on the stream. If and before there is a 4th round. Be right back, my friends. Stick around. right, folks. Looks like we got more of the same coming up for you here. Oh, at Collector Legion. Ami's back. Ami's back and he's got mono red. And Will's back. Will's back and he has black red mid range. Mid range. Mono rude. Mono red. Ami is ready to go. He shuffles fast. He cuts fast. He whips the die to see who goes first fast. As we enter round 4, game 1. All the red. All about the red. About the red. No blue decks. Ami's gonna mold a 6. And it looks like Will is keeping his 7. Let's see who's all still here. In case you are just tuning in, this is Collector Legion's Monday Night Standard Showdown Magic. There are 10 players tonight. They are playing for Showdown packs, as well as Prestige and Renown and or Store Credit. If Will wins, he will be the only 4-0 player tonight. Everyone else is some type of X1. Ami, turn 1, throwing out that Beaumont Courier. It's got haste, and when it enters, you exile the top card of your library face down. You can't look at it. And then he casts another one. He's got Will down to 17 already. It's a much faster hand than Will has. As Will's sitting there looking at a handful of cards, Ami is going to shoot him. 16 down to 14. Seems like this game 1 might be over before Will can really get established. Will probably abrade something here. By something, I mean one of those 2 scroungers. Ooh, there's a full art of a card. I'm not sure which one that is. So 1 scrounger will get killed and those cards will be exiled away with it. Or put in the graveyard. I'm not sure. I didn't see which happened. But Will is at 13. Ami's still at 20. Let me take a look here. Will is looking more and more like he's in trouble, as his life total now becomes 10. Ami is still sitting at a pretty 20. Ami also has his on-crop crasher out there. It has haste, which you can exert it. But, well, actually, I mean, it's already dead. It got disintegrated. It was destroyed. Here comes a, ooh, yep, Walking Ballista for 2. It's kind of weird seeing Walking Ballista in Standard, because in Modern, the only time you really see a Walking Ballista is like in a Tron deck. And, you know, it's usually for like a shitload for 8 or 10. So it's coming out with like 4 counters on it, 5 counters on it. It's insane. Ami, contemplating what he was doing, decides to move to attacks. He has 2 cards in hand. Will is going to attempt to shoot the Scrounger. Ami does some shenanigans. Looks like he hits Will down to 5. Which is pretty insane in the membrane. Looks like Ami has a Soul Scar Mage out there. It has prowess. It dies because Chandra nukes it. Scrounger is going to get rid of Chandra. Will untaps. Cast a Chain Whirler, killing the Scrounger. And it's just a battle of Scroungers back and forth. Scrounger and Whirler basically in every deck that has some form of red in it in standard right now. Ami's got 1 card in hand. Will seems to have 3 or 4. There's a Glorybringer hits the field. Let's bring up that Glorybringer again. Glorybringer has flying and haste, and you can exert it as it attacks. When you do, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. Pretty sweet. Ami gets taken down to 15, by the way. In case you guys missed it, because I know I did while I was reading Glorybringer. Chain Whirler is going to swing in. As is Glorybringer can't because it was exerted. And another Scrap Heap Scrounger comes out for Will. He's gonna Magma Spray whatever dude it was that Ami just played. It happened too fast, I didn't see it, folks. Sorry about that. Will has a Karn in hand, and I'm not sure why he's choosing to not play it at this time. I think he's just concerned about stabilizing that last card in Ami's hand. Ami is not letting me get a good look at it. Not sure if it's a land or if it's something else. Will goes to attacks. Ami's like, sure, bring it. I got nothing to stop you with. Ami's down to 2. It's a battle of the 2s. Who will top deck that burn spell first? Ami plays it out to make sure that Will blocks. Because he technically was swinging with lethal damage with his Pharaoh God. Hazaret the Fervent, it does have haste, and Ami had no cards in hand, so it was swinging for 5 damage, but it was blocked by the Phoenix, and Will takes game 1. As we move to game 2, be curious to see what gets played. Ami must have done pretty decently in his other matchups. I'm guessing he is currently 2-1. Now, if I am Will, I'm guessing to bring in maybe a Sweltering Sun. Seems like an option. I like Doomfall here because it will either kill a creature or it will also get rid, or it will get rid of a card from Ami's hand. And that seems pretty strong. We go over to the mono red deck looking at sideboard options. I'm not exactly sure if Ami's close to the sideboard, but I would imagine that Reckless Rage is going to come in. Seeing as how it does 4 damage to target creature you don't control and 2 damage to target creature you control. For 1 mana, that's pretty dope. But Chandra's Defeat is also pretty dope. Chandra's Defeat dealing 5 damage to target red creature or a red planeswalker. If that permanent is Chandra Planeswalker, you may discard a card. If you do, you draw a card. Considering Ami knows Will has them in the deck, that might be a sideboard card he's coming in. But considering Will knows Ami knows he has it in the deck, is Will going to side out his own Chandras? We will find out. Pardon me, it's beverage time. I'll drink some more of that water, you know, so I don't die or dehydrate and stuff. And I can do a little bit of Bane.
Ah, yes.
Yep, that's the Mountain Dew. But it's a little watered down because the ice is starting to melt. Do Mountain Dew. I guess I should fix the life total so they say 20 and not 2 apiece. And we start game 2, and we'll see if Will can close it out or if Ami will cling to victory and force a game 3. Ami contemplating if he's going to bottom or top his scry. He puts it on the bottom. Plays that turn 1. Sweet Bowman Courier. I really like that, dude. I mean, I like any 1-drop that can attack turn 1. It's just value to me. Will having no turn 1 play, no turn 2 play, might be waiting for pre-combat. Swinging for 5 damage, it looks like Ami puts his hand up. The Scrounger's going to die. But Will is already down to 13 life. And we see that Ami got a quick lead against Will last game. But Will was able to come out and slow Ami down. Let's see if he can do it again. Ami's got a Karizev Skyship Raider out on the field. Oh no, he doesn't. Sorry, it's already dead. And he's already played the Soul Scar Mage. Will throws down a Phoenix. That Phoenix seems like nothing but value. The question is Will going to bring out his Ballista at this point, or is he going to? Oh, he just cast another Phoenix. Pretty decent. Considering this Phoenix is a 4/3, it's a good body. Oops. Not sure why that happened. Sorry about that, folks. Ami's still stuck on 2 lands. This is a bummer at the moment. See, I did something here and I really messed up the outlay. I'm just gonna go like that so we can still see the totals. I'm gonna get in trouble, guys. I screwed up the layout rather. Will's at 9 already, but he's swinging in for 8 damage. Ami's gonna go down to 8. And unless Ami gets some more lands, with that Ballista on the field now for 2, it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do much to stop Will. Looks like he's shooting Will for 3 more damage. Will is not going to let it go by without killing Ami's creature first with his Walking Ballista. Ami passes. He's got at least 2 cards in hand. Will checking his own grave. I think that's just a tick he does. I'm not sure why he's doing that right now, but Ami is swinging for 8 damage. Or sorry, Will swinging for 8 damage. But Ami kills one of the birds, but he does take 4 still. Slowing down the clock. Here comes a Scrap Heap Scrounger. And another Scrap Heap Scrounger. Ami just draws lands finally. Too little too late, and Will takes the win. Good job, Will. Well played. And good job, Ami. Well fought. But in the battle of wizards, there can only be one. I mean, there's lots of wizards, but you know, I thought it would sound kind of cool if we stole Highlander. Of course, I said it wrong, though. There can be only one, is what you're supposed to say. But that's fine. Well, folks, friends, thank you so much for coming and watching Magic the Gathering here at Collector Legion at twitch.tv/Collector Legion. I've been your host, James, aka James the Jew. Just a couple announcements before we leave. We have coming this week, I believe tomorrow, we have a draft going. Wednesday we have Modern. Thursday we have, no, I'm sorry, tomorrow we have Legacy. Then on Wednesday we have Modern, and then on Thursday we have Draft, and then on Friday we have our FNM, which is usually Standard and Modern, and also sometimes a Draft. And then Saturday we have our Legacy Staples event, which should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of hype about it right now, and if you are a Legacy player and you live in Southern California, you should come by because there are some pretty dope staples up in the prize pool. I believe tournament is to start promptly at 1. So please, if you would like to play, come sign up beforehand. Sunday, I believe there is a PPTQ. Trying to remember the location. I can Google it real quick. And by Google, I mean look on Facebook. It would work if I like typed the words better. I'm 99% sure there is a PPTQ. Southern California. Let's see. Trying to find the right Magic group. In the Collector Legion, we are in a lot of different Magic groups. I'm trying to find the right one here with the info about it. Probably because I'm in Caesar's Facebook. Caesar, you left your Facebook logged in. You goob. That's fine. Magic Root. I wonder who will yell at me more about me messing up the layout. I know it's just a series of buttons that I pushed in the wrong order on accident, but to be fair, I am not used to this like gamer style mouse, and it has 20 different buttons. Maybe not 20. I think there's like 13 buttons on this mouse. And it's like, come on, guys. What am I going to do with 13 buttons? Let's see. Scrolling through. I'm afraid I can't find it at the moment. Well, but here anyway at Collector Legion, so Sundays we have Dungeons and Dragons, as well as Mondays and Thursdays. And then, as you know already, because you're currently watching, we have Monday Night Magic, Standard Showdown usually. We also have Star Wars Destiny, usually on Mondays. Tuesdays are Draft and Commander. So I did have it right. Thursday's Legacy, Tuesday's Draft. I always mix it up for some reason. We also have Dragon Ball Z, TCG, if you guys like that game. Modern on Wednesdays, Legacy, Star Wars Destiny again on Thursdays, FNM for Fridays, and then Modern happens quite often on Saturdays, but this Saturday will be our Legacy Staples event. It's going to be great. Come play some Legacy. And until then, that's all I can think of right now. Be sure to check out our social medias for any information. Keep in touch. We also sell cards via TCG Player. If you're in need of some stuff, check out our store, tcgplayer.com/collectorlegion. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow me also, James Jew, Twitter and Instagram. And I'm trying to think if there's any other announcements. I do not believe so. So with that, I will say goodnight to you all. Thank you so much for coming by. We greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I hope you shuffle well. Thanks.